And welcome back. So continuing on with our database store. In this video, Nelson is going to get store implemented and who knows, whatever else may fall into the time constraints I'm setting forth.
Okay, so throwing a not implement exception is obviously not valid behavior. So we're going to start by deleting that. And the first line is we're going to create a record info. And the reason we're creating this isn't that we need it in particular right now, but is that we'll need it for our helper methods. Remember, the record info is just a convenient way to pass around the identifiable information about a record.
Right.
And so we get the coordinates from the coordinates, we get the type of the record from record.getType, and we get the layer from layer. Now, just like before, we need a first index. So we'll go ahead and add our index for the get first record position. So we can finally, we can say if first index is -1, this means that no record at this coordinate has ever been saved before. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna delegate off to the store new record method, which is going to take a record and its corresponding information, and then we're going to return out. Otherwise, we need to do some stuff. And the problem is that there's going to be two instances that we have to handle. The first instance is during the walking of the record list, if we run into an instance where we find a matching record, meaning that someone had already stored a record at these coordinates of this type on this layer, we're going to need to overwrite him. If we get to the end of the list before that happens, we need to append to the record list. So there's going to be two sort of cases we need to be aware of. And so we'll also need another piece of information that is going to make a lot more sense when we get to actually implementing this method, but it's the last header. We're going to need to keep track of what the last header was that we dealt with. And we'll see why eventually. So first index, and then header reader, just like before. And then we're going to say if header.type is info.type and header layer is layer, then we're going to overwrite existing record with record info header and then the last header. And then we're going to return true, telling walk record list to stop. Next, if header.nextRecord is -1, meaning we reach the end of the list and there's no more records that walk record list is going to enumerate over, then we need to append to record list and then pass in the record and the info and the header. And then we're going to return out true. Finally, we're going to set last header to this current header, and then we're going to return false to say that we now need to enumerate over to the next record.
Okay.
So is that all good?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead and stub those out too.
So I'll bring in that guy. I'll bring in that guy. And how can we get him on? Fine. Just break that like that. There we go.
Cool.
I probably want to get this in order just because I like orders. Store new record, overwrite, and then append, and then walk record list and load record. That should be all good.
Okay, outstanding. All right, so is that pretty much everything you wanted to get in place inside of store?
Yeah.
Is there something you're dying to touch next? Is store new record pretty short?
Well, yeah, I mean, now that we have this, now that we're building against this sort of abstract concept, we have this sort of API inside the database class itself mm-hmm. that we're able to consume, which is why this method is so simple. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it is relatively simple. So, yeah.
So did you want to do store new record, or where do you want to go from here?
I kind of wanted to go from get, and then get this get to work. Okay. Because getting get to work will only require that we write walk record list and load record.
Okay, cool. Then let's go ahead and wrap this one up, and in the next video, we'll focus on those. Okay, so thanks a lot, everyone, and we'll catch you guys in the next video.